You are now listening to the Real Afro Unity podcast with our hosts, Daring and Ayo, where they'll be discussing various topics that affect our African diaspora. With these conversations, they aim to hopefully bridge the gap between us African Americans with the Nigerian diaspora. They will dismantle the myths and share a new perspective. Please sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the conversation.
We have to undo that mentality of like my neighborhood is shit and like recognize and see the beauty in where I come from. Like, yeah, there's a little violence, but there's also community, right, in these neighborhoods, right? Yeah. There's also like family. There's also, and so how do I debunk what the media says of my area and actually learn how to enact my free will to see my neighborhood in a different light?
Learn how to enact. First, you have to know you have it.
I agree.
So I feel like the more we speak in those terms, the more people will realize that they actually have choice. So it's not when the immigrant comes in and buys up your block that you realize that you have the same opportunity. And then it turns into envy. Like you should know this stuff.
Oh no! Before we're still gonna get there.
Okay.
I feel like now we've had 40 minutes conversation. I know it's not something we are going to be able to like solve in 40 minutes.
Right.
But in all honesty, AY,
yeah,
you have been to. We just came back from Nigeria.
Yeah.
You went to the slave center. You put chains on. Right. Everything was done.
Those chains are crazy.
They are heavy.
They're heavy.
It's not just like so. Like it's for you. You saw it in the video. It's just like us putting it on. It's not like a chain. It's not like the fancy. Yeah. It's not like a fancy gold chain.
Think of it like
neck.
You know the water 5 gallons.
Yeah.
The water.
On your neck.
Imagine that on your neck.
That is it. Yeah. So it's the weight. So when we held it, we felt the weight.
Just on your neck, not on your feet and your hands.
Yeah.
That's another bag. And then you're tied to other people.
So that is it. So like when you hold it, it feels like, it's not metal.
Yeah,
whatever.
all right.
It's heavy.
Is it the
like,
actual chains or are they?
Yeah. The actual chains.
The actual chains are heavy.
Are y'all not afraid of the spiritual ramifications?
No.
No?
Because this is it.
That's what I'm saying.
So everything
you have to
everything
the way you see yourself is the key. If you see yourself as a victim, you're already in the jail. If you see yourself as a free person, then you are free. So the more we repeat this slavery story, the more you will be enslaved.
Yeah, I've even lost my chain of thought, but I love where you guys are going to.
I get what you're saying, but I think that sometimes we forget, in the story of slavery, we sometimes beat ourselves, and it goes back to the point of like beating yourself over the head of all the negatives, right? Like negative. And so my background is public health, and so public programming. So thinking for the community that we say is, in order to gain trust, you don't go into that community beating them overhead of like, this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong.
Got it.
What already exists there that's positive that we can build off of, right? And so instead of beating our heads over the enslavement of us, let's talk about those freedom fighters in this movement, right? So I get what you're saying. We have to tell that history because when we just said, the ideals of slavery have already existed. They're how our world operates. So we have to understand the historical implications of it, but we can also understand and know those stories through triumph and not just being these enslaved people.
Exactly.
I lost my chain of thought.
No, you were talking about Badagry and how you were about to ask me a question. So
yeah, so like exactly. So like we have seen it, and I was trying to like divert the question somewhere else. You as a person, that experience that you had in Lagos, did it change anything about you or your perception of how you see slavery?
Yes.
Tell us.
It did.
What did it change?
So several things.
Sorry, will you say your previous perceptions and then
did it change a previous perception that you have?
It added to,
or do you feel like no, it just emboldened what I've already
it emboldened.
Okay.
So I've always felt like, if you can hear from my tone, like you are the destiny. You are the author of your own destiny.
Pull yourself up by
Period. No funny-ish. Like you understand?
Yeah.
Like your story is your story. It's not your mom's story. It's not your dad's story. It's not what you read in statistics. It's not you are writing your own story. You understand what I'm saying? What I realized, and to the chain part, is that we are actually very, very resilient people. That part is not being said. The story of slavery, where we are extremely innovative, smart.
Yeah.
Even the way they tried to handled us, for us to find a way to communicate with one another,
right?
To find a way to revolt against these.
Cornrows were a form of communication.
Yeah, form of communication. How smart we are. They couldn't handle it. That's why they had to put chains on us. Yeah. So that's the part that we have to reignite. That we are resilient people. No matter what is going on in the world, we will find a way through it. Not even out of it. It's going to be through it. Yeah. So we have to reignite that and charge ourselves up to the 240.
Nice.
Because we have been too dull in this area.
I'm going to make this.
You understand what I mean?
Charge it to 240.
Yeah, we have to charge it to 240 because that's our capacity. Imagine you charge your phone. Every time you charge your phone, it was to 60%. And you got used to going through a whole day at 60%. And then your friends are charged to 60%. And then you go to a country where you charging to 100% in half the time.
Right.
You're going to see yourself that you like, I never knew I could do this.
I agree.
And then that's the kind of mindset that you need to persevere through whatever obstacles are here. Systematic, spiritual, or through your family. Either way, you can go through it. So you have to spark that part of you back up, because a lot of people don't even know that they have it. And our job with this platform is to be the bridge. This is where you were originally from. They brought you here, but now is a chance to rewrite the story for yourself, which will affect your generation.
Okay.
Nice. See, that was powerful. I have always been the type of person that looks at slavery, and because I know the history of what happens in Africa, in Yoruba Kingdom, in the other kingdoms that have happened in Africa, like slaves it has always been part of the society. Mm-hmm. Having slaves is part of what you get from, even in the Bible days.
To conquer, yes.
To conquer. Even in the Bible days as a Christian, slaves were being taken. I think the problem was how people were treated.
Yeah.
The cruelty part.
The displacement.
When they were brought here.
The cruelty part. Like, let me speak on that. It was the people from the New World that came with their fancy technology, and they were trying to control. So the way that they were able to do that is to introduce cruelty. That is the chain. Connecting one slave to the other, having them pierce their lips, shut their mouth closed. That's the cruelty part that they brought into the continent. While we were there alone, we had our way of managing each other, but the cruelty part was not there at all. They came and they just AI defied the whole thing. You understand? They because for them it's efficiency. How big is he? How small is he? Now it's like you're looking at yourself as cattle now. You understand? Not as a part of this new kingdom. Yeah. You were once part of this kingdom. Now you're looking at yourself. Now you're comparing yourself to the other people that you are chained to. And then from there, it's just the mental...
The continued of this.
The continuation of seeing each other like this. We always saw each other as a group, I think.
Yeah.
Because you were captured as groups.
Absolutely.
But when the foreigners came, now you started to see your individual features.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, you're big, you're small, you're this, you're going to be, and then they're auctioning you off and raping your wife in front, like all of that stuff, the cruelty part was what they brought in, and that's just what led the way to our mental mindset of slavery continuing.
Yeah.
So do you think the mental part of it now let's even say we've not even answered the first question, and I think we're never going to be able to answer it because, like, we are on this table, we have a different view about it.
But I think we all have the same view.
No, I think we have a different view because for you think the slavery still exists, but in a different form.
He does too.
Do you think
mentally?
So too?
Oh, so a different form. Is that form mental for you as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Mental slavery is the thing. Think about what you just explained it so
Yes,
beautifully.
yeah.
You articulate that is a mental slavery.
Yeah.
Right? Like the reality of it when we think about specifically you or even Caribbean slavery, right? The slaves outnumbered the slave masters and their family, right? What kept them there? Mental slavery.
Let's say it is mental. Let's say it is still there. Do you think that was the work of the government or the work of people passing this narrative from one generation to the other?
That's a good question.
I think both. I think both.
Because, like, I don't think any white man is calling any black guy to say, sit down. You are a slave. You have to do this and do this and do this. I think it is. Let me let you answer. You guys should go.
I think it's
I want to hear from
Ask your question again.
The mental part of it now. Do you think it is the black generations that are passing that narrative over? Or do you think it is the government that is still making sure that people are mentally...
I think the government is using initiatives like certain... The government uses the platforms to promote their position. And sometimes you need your audience to see themselves as a slave so that you can be the one to be the savior. So they like to position you as the victim triangle.
Somebody has to do the work.
Someone has to do the work, but you have to see yourself as in need first. And then you'll be asking the government for it. So now they're coming in from a humanitarian perspective, where all along it's control that they wanted. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like right now, the mental slavery is how we see ourselves. The narrative that we share about ourselves is what's informing the new generation of mentally enslaved people. And I think with the advent of social media, we've gotten to have more exposure to things that is not so centralized and tied to the government's narrative or agenda. And so now, if you are a curious individual yourself, you can open yourself to a different perspective.
Yeah.
And that can now form how you, A, view slavery, and B, view yourself. Because now you have a more nuanced view of the past and not such a story told, like intentionally curated story to garner certain effects.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think a bit of both too, right? Like before you were talking about, you were like, imagine you're at 60%, your friend is at 60%. If all you are still around you is 60%, but then you go somewhere else and you see, I can get to 100 in half of the time, right? Compared to these other 60%ers. That mental slavery. When you were around all those 60%ers, you were in
Well, I can control that environment. Remember, we agreed that we have free will, right or wrong?
Yes.
So we can change that in our environment. Now, does everyone have the fortitude and the knowledge to do so? Of course not. But the same way you copy bad things, you can copy good things.
I agree. And you have to see those good things, right?
Right.
And so I think once you see those good things, what do you do with what you see? I think
try to copy the good thing.
Right. I agree. Yes. At the same time, it's nuance to copying that good thing, right? Because the reality is when any neurological person will tell you in terms of how we view ourselves, how our perceptions form, how our experiences form. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's one of my favorites. It's a Disney movie about like emotions and how
Disney?
they form. Yeah. What is it called? It's going to come to me. Okay. But it just, and so one bad thing you learn about yourself outweighs 10 good things you learn about yourself. That's how our brains.
If you have parents that reinforce them,
right,
yes.
And that's the thing.
If
when
you have
just
parents that don't,
exactly,
then you were rewiring your children.
Exactly. We just talked about all these generations. I'm at this point, like 6, 7 generation American, right? Like I'm the first in my family to go to college. I'm the first in my family to live in, like, probably not, I don't really live in my family, but live up, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm the first person in my family to get a master's degree. And so this is after generations, right? And this is also my mom's
and that was
family.
Intentional. that was not your scenario situation because you're the first. You didn't copy nobody.
I didn't copy anybody, but I will say, this is why I say we can't take out the act of faith in spirit and favor over your life in certain.
So you're spiritual too.
I'm extremely spiritual.
Okay, go on.
And so I will say the catalyst for that was me getting a black woman as my 5th grade teacher who saw that intelligence in me.
5th grade for you too.
Yeah. What?
Oh my God.
What happened in 5th grade?
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So in the 5th grade, I was introduced to the stock market through a game. That changed my life. This wasn't like right before. Yeah, this was a while ago, like 2004-ish.
That sheer...
She showed us how to invest, basically. She was like, pick 3 stocks. She handed us the Wall Street Journal. She said, go to the last page. You know where all the numbers are.
Yeah.
Pick 3 companies. Track these 3 companies until the end of the school year. Whichever company does the best and whoever team that company is part of will receive a gift. And that was how...
You were introduced
to the stock market. From there, I walked onto Wall Street to like introduce myself to some random guy on the Trump building because I wanted to learn what they were doing
I
there.
can see now why you support him. Anyway.
He's my guy. This guy is my mentor. This is my guy. So from there, but the 5th grade teacher is like, because you're so young at that age and you can really like, the sad part is, that's how they learn how many jail cells to build, by the 5th grade reading scores. So that's what they use to forecast. That's sick, but
the kids' lunch are made by the same company.
So, but the thing is, if we rewrite the story, if we have teachers like the ones we've got to experience that can show you a different option, although you might be going back to your mom and dad that's in a certain environment, but in this school and when you're with me as a teacher, they can rewrite the story. You understand what I'm saying?
So I was
at least
also
play
a
their
teacher.
part.
In my former life,
really?
I
Wow.
taught in Brownsville, New York.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
6th grade math teacher.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. Okay.
And so, yes, the reality is a child is spending majority of their day in school, but the reality is after a certain age, especially when you think about like 5th grade, 6th grade, when you're going to school, honestly, a child knows who their authority figures are, right? They understand the distinctions between so there's only, and this is what I always tell my parents, in order for anything that I'm teaching here to stick, we have to be in tangent,
exactly. Right?
Like I have to be able, if he acting up, I got to be able to get you on speed dial, right? Like I've had parents come and stand in my back of my classroom because they're working in tangent. But if that's not happening, whatever that teacher teaches, that child don't care.
Exactly.
That child don't care because you're not my mom. You're not my guardian. Like I don't come to, you're not my safe space, right? And so, yes and no. That it goes back to, we have to be more in community and not individual. Unfortunately, in our Western society, we are very individualized.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're taught that at a very young age. And so, yes and no. Like, both things are true.
I got you. I understand.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's really good.
That is what is going to lead us into the next conversation. Just stay tuned. See you. I think we've already started talking about this, and I just wanted us to bring it home. Bring it home. Then we can talk politics and talk about whatever.
Freestyle.
Tickles our fancy. Let me put it that way. But I want us to drag this home. We've had a lot of discussions, a lot of back and forths, a lot of New York, ATL, New Yorker versus New Yorker, New Jersey kind of conversation. and I loved, I said it during the initial part that this is what I envision this discussion to be. But I don't want us to lose the juice of, if you are a black person in this country, anywhere in this world, your ancestors were brought 10th night, fifth, sixth, second generation was brought out of Africa to the diaspora, and you're now a certified French or whatever you called yourself to be, try for you to understand what the people that, brought you to where you are today went through. You should see it. Maybe the storytelling part in classes are not enough for you. Maybe you need to go to, I won't say Nigeria so it doesn't look like I'm promoting.
We are promoting Nigeria.
No, I'm not scared of promoting Nigeria.
Thank you. We are promoting
But
Nigeria.
maybe some people have discovered their roots.
Yeah.
And they know they are from.
It happens not to be.
That they happen not to be, exactly. They happen not to be from Nigeria, and you want to really connect with your roots, go to wherever that place is.
Visit the African continent, period.
If you know what people went through for you to have what you have today, that you're taking for granted, that you're using, for me, as when things are not going right for you is an excuse. When things are going great, then, hey, I'm a black person. Yeah. You need to see it. It will transform you. Literally, you will see the resilience, just like what you were saying, the strength you have. If some people can pass through that and still survive it,
and thrive,
and try, and later, make things happen for themselves. Look at the woman you were talking about, the Tubman, or from
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, look at what that woman did. She has families in this country today, right? She probably got married and had kids, or maybe cousins and stuff like that.
People were impacted.
I don't even know. Nobody.
The point is that her story still tells.
Yeah.
She's just that is where you cut from.
So let's talk about those stories.
I agree.
That is what you cut from.
But let's not just talk about Harriet. Let's also talk about Sojourner.
When people,
right.
Yeah,
of course. People, what we're saying is the positive side.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in basically, is this. You as a black person, leave the narrative alone. Leave the narratives alone. First of all, do the little you can do to even make yourself better as a person, as a human being. Right. Then build on it. Right. I'm not even saying chase wealth, get rich. No. Just even do the barest minimum of making sure you are okay as a person. Because some people have suffered for you to gain that freedom. You can say it is now mental, it is now physical, now you are not, whatever thing you think now, it doesn't matter anymore. That is the way I say it. You now have the opportunity to develop yourself into something else. Now, you cannot now, if you say, oh, I deserve this promotion, but they are not giving it to me because of my skin color. Okay, fine. At least you are working. At least something is working for you. You are not going to say, I'm not going to work because they are not going to promote me anyway. Who are you? You are like.
Or I'm going to change.
No, you are like.
Change a company that will promote me.
So exactly. So you don't have to.
Doesn't value me.
You don't exactly. You have the choice now. You don't have to.
Free will.
You don't have to look at yourself and say, "Oh, because someone is not doing something for me, is because I'm black." Okay, fine. Go somewhere else.
Because the reality is that does happen, but it's like once that happens, what are you doing? Are
I'm
you
not
sitting
even,
in it,
what,
or are you?
So, but see, let's be.
I don't want anybody to even.
Some people don't get promotions because they're short.
See, I'm not saying people are not. I'm not saying it's not happening.
You got it.
I'm just saying that should be the least of your problem.
I agree.
Go somewhere else.
Unfortunately, I will say. So, are you?
You sound like me now.
I was gonna say
because people suffered. I have seen it. I did not see. I know my grandfather. So my dad knew his grandfather. So I can account for my 6, 7 generations. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't think maybe my families were brought here. I don't know, but I can account for like.
You weren't born here.
I wasn't born here.
You can account for your culture and your heritage.
Yes, I can count the next 5 people above me.
If you were born
I'm
here,
okay with that.
So I was born here, but I lived there since the age of like 4 or 5, right? And then back and forth. So
you have the experience of living, and I will say, and I do agree with you all in terms of like, as a Black American going over to the continent and being like, damn, I'm not the minority anymore, right? Yes. Like that is
some people suffer.
Yes,
some people went through pain.
At the same time, I again am speaking from a privileged standpoint, or someone who's been able to experience that, right? Like you said, like I can pinpoint my granddad's granddad and his granddad as a Black American, and in a way you can as well, right? Because there's a connection to your heritage, so there's a connection to something. But for me specifically, or for Black Americans specifically, I'm American.
Yes, but
right?
but when you are able to trace your generation to the seventh one, the only thing that you want to pick out of it is, oh, they suffered. And that is not what I want you to look.
That's not the entire story.
Yeah,
yes, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, and I think what your thoughts, I think what you're saying is how we progress. But what I'm saying is, in order to get to moving forward, we have to release the shame of being beaten down with, because the reality is, as an American, especially being a Black American, there is a complex relationship to my heritage. The reality is that flag that we hate is my flag, right? Like, I'm not from, like, okay, if I took Ancestry.com, okay, but the reality is,
you don't know any other place than here.
Right, my family doesn't know. And so there's a complex history and dichotomy and a lot of cognitive dissonance that has to be worked through in order to get to that moving forward place. And I'm able to be there because I was able to experience it.
We just need to have more versions, more people like you and
let me tell you a story that can be very simple. When I say a story, it's just like a general saying in Africa. You wake up in a house where the father is always drunk and beats up the mother. Then the man has two sons. One will grow up never to taste alcohol. The other one will wake up and just say, I want to be like my dad. From the same household, but what lessons are you picking from it?
Right.
The stories are there. Your fifth, sixth, seventh generation have told you how they suffered. Now, what do you want to do with that story? Do you want to die in the pity region of how they have suffered us?
Or do you
want to look at it and say, no, my generations are not going to witness this. I'm going to be the one to change this story.
I think everybody wants to be the latter.
And that is what
you think so?
Oh no, I don't say. No. I don't see it.
Remember, they picked you for a reason. Oh yes,
you gotta ask.
Yeah,
but you know why?
Because you are the one that saw it different.
Thank you.
Okay, again.
Yeah,
it took spirit. Like, okay, this is the one
that is whining. No, when I say whining, it doesn't mean the English word whining.
You have to give out the translation. No,
that whining is a Nigerian.
Stay. Now I want to know what you said.
I'm trying to speak like. When I say the wine,
how you translate?
It's a slang. It's not the when I say you are whining, it's not the whining of when someone is whining. It's no, that's not what I mean. It's a different level of saying, you dey whine me like
you're giving me stories now.
Stories.
You're prolonging. Go to the point.
Now, when you're saying it's spiritual, now you are going. Now you are giving me stories.
Hey, because I fully believe that
I can't believe I just did this.
The reality is it takes like you have to have. It goes back to the example y'all gave about the burning building. You have to have faith that something on the not religion, but just a sheer faith that there's something better on the other side.
No, it doesn't have to be better. At least I've helped myself first. Whatever comes out of it, I know I did my best.
Right. You didn't.
Yeah.
The point.
I'm still going to die in here anyway.
Look, I have to admit, this is part of some of the problem that I have with the culture here. We have to have higher standards. But at the end of the day, I do understand.
What do you mean higher standards? Elaborate on that.
Like, we need to, showing up is not enough. Like, in Nigeria, just going to school in Nigeria helped me out so much. So you could be on time, but if you're not prepared, it's like you're late. So it doesn't matter. So here you get participation. You showed up on time award. In Nigeria, they reward you for being prepared.
So is this an American issue? A Western
From
issue?
my experience, yes, to a degree. What I've realized is that culture is in the more higher education, like when you go to Ivy League schools or you're in a higher education, then the culture is different. But by and large, it's like you get rewarded for just showing up, and that's not enough to fight where we're at now. Now we have to be intentional, because we've gone too far being ignorant. So now we have to be intentional about the rewriting of the story, because our children are looking at what we're doing, and the generations before us are also looking at us as what we're doing. And that's part of the reason why we've built this platform, so that we can show our past and our children that, hey, we are actively working on rechanging the narrative, one. And then number two, we're living examples of what it is to persevere through whatever circumstances.
You're not living examples of what it
Yes,
is.
we are.
So let me ask you a question.
I think from your cultural standpoint.
What do you mean?
In terms of being an immigrant in this country, but you were
He's not.
I'm not. I was born here. So
Well,
I'm
he's
not.
not
however, you spent time away.
He spent 2 years.
So if someone is deployed in the military,
he spent 2
he
years.
spent like.
You spent how many years in Ghana? How many years did you spend in Ghana?
So what I'm
How
saying
many years did you
is,
spend in Ghana?
it's none of people's business. What time?
Okay,
I spent
give me
where.
a range. Give me a range.
What I'm getting at.
It's almost a
is,
decade in Africa for me. Before
Exactly.
the age of 17.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is you've had the experience to be able to have the dual experience of what
Yes.
it's like to live and
Yes.
exist here and what it's like to live and exist.
Absolutely.
And this is what has developed your mind
Yes.
and your thought process
Yes.
and your understanding of the world, and honestly your understanding of the basis of society and how we operate, right?
Yes.
That is not the experience of the everyday.
That's why I have to open my big mouth to talk about it, because I know I'm an anomaly. And I acknowledge that full and clear, that no one else, that experience is very unique.
Right.
It is extremely unique. But that's why it's now my duty to share it to people. Like, this is not the only choice. There is another choice. If you think it's bad here, it's a lot worse somewhere else. So if you're not grateful for where you are, okay.
You cannot get more.
You cannot get more.
That is simple.
It's because you already feel like you've arrived.
So there is a spiritual aspect to it.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, there's a spiritual aspect to it.
It's
Hold
also
on.
life lessons,
It's
though.
life-
If
you
you're
have
not
to
grateful,
go through
if you're not,
things.
it's life lessons. If you're not
have
grateful
to go through things.
for what you
In
have,
society, right?
yeah, if you're not grateful for what you have, you
the
can't get
thing
more.
is this, though, you have to work for it. See, this is where I have a unique view. If you don't labor for something, you will never value it.
I agree.
You follow what I mean?
Yeah.
And the environment here, there's a lot of things that you can get without labor.
Like what?
Governments, everything. They will sponsor you if you qualify.
Yeah.
They don't have that option
I get what you're saying.
on the continent.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So that's how that conversion happens from 240 to 140. It's like now that animal spirit is not alive anymore to survive and thrive in a capitalist environment. Now
Okay.
you become the product, not the producer.
So stay there, because I have a thought and I want to build off of this, right? So when we talk about Black progress in this country, right? In the past recent years, it's come out that Black women have been the mightiest, right?
Possibly.
However,
I don't have the statistics.
However, when you break those, because what is Black, right? Like, are you talking about Black American? Are you talking about African? Are you talking about Caribbean? And when you break those statistics down, Black American women are not the one that are progressing. It is actually the African and the Caribbean women that are progressing. And so what you just said in terms of the differences in the hustle, the hunger, and the drive in terms of the experience, right? Like, I've had a friend from Nigeria who migrated over here, but his dad ended up leaving a family and coming here and left him. And he's had times where he's had to sleep in abandoned homes with no walls, right? And so there's a difference in terms of, so he got here, starting to come, but there's a different level of kind of like you're coming here and studying a country to understand how to succeed here, as opposed to being here and being a part of it. We talked about how different chattel slavery was from regular slavery.
Being here and the community here seeing you different because your name is different. Mm-hmm. First is, how do you say this name? Mm-hmm. Then when they finally say the name, now you're an African booty scratcher.
Okay. In the 2000s.
Now
that is not a different.
Yeah.
This is so. I've gone through it too.
Yeah.
I have my own story. I didn't want to share that because I don't like to run into Victim Olympics.
Yes, I wasn't trying to get you to.
I
I was waiting for when you're going to use that word.
I know, but I'm just
Victim
saying
Olympics.
that there's sometimes.
Yeah, and so what I'm getting at is, do you think that in terms of when we look at Black progress in this country, right? A lot of it's through the new cultural things, like new Africans are coming in,
of
Caribbeans
course,
are coming
yes.
in.
It's still the same Africans. What do you mean new Africans are coming in? We're still the same Africans.
Because representation matters. So if you see your Nigerian sister in a higher education and you feel like, oh, I have a buddy there, let me take it with her. Let me take the class with her.
Right.
So we have an impact. Okay, does it trickle down into the data specifically? Maybe or maybe not. But you cannot ignore the fact that there is an impact that we make. We are high achievers, period. No matter where we are, the data says this. We are the ones that will dominate whatever high earning career or in school, whatever higher education, we will dominate because we believe culturally in self-improvement and always having something to do. That's what my dad always said. He said, you always have to have something to do. There's no such thing that there's nothing to do. You always have something to do. So here, there's, okay, I've made it from I graduated from bachelor's, now I'm good. It's when the job is not enough that they will go back and try to upgrade and get a different job because they have been told that more education means better. Sure. You understand what I mean? Well, for us, is where's the best? That's where I want to go.
I agree. And so
we have to upgrade our standards. Sometimes you got to be whipped in the butt, and we do the whipping in the butt.
Do you believe or do you think that you said your father, this is something that's been culturally
for me, yes.
Right.
My dad
and a lot of Nigerian, Ghanaian, West African, East African, African, Caribbean, this is what's instilled. Like I was a teacher, I had students, like my students would be on A, B, she'd be like, oh wait, where's your best friend?
Yeah.
Oh, she's an A, why you not with her?
Why you not exactly.
And so, this is what I mean by the dichotomy of it, right? Like if we're saying that as a Black peoples, and then, so how do you think that for Black Americans who've grown up in this country where we talked about the complex relationship it is to your heritage, right? Because the reality is the American dream is go to school, get a job. It's not be the best. It's be a part.
Yeah.
Right? And so is it that Black Americans are making themselves victims, or is it Black Americans are just Americans and they're going what their culture is teaching them?
I get, you go where your culture is teaching you, but there's a reason why you want to do, like culture matters too. So you can take the good parts of our culture and embrace it. Like even if you know you don't have a Nigerian friend or an African friend, make an effort to go to an African party to make a Nigerian friend, an African friend, so that you can learn from their culture.
I don't think you also need to necessarily have a friend or something for anybody to make impact in you. People have mentors they've never seen before.
That's true. Online, through books.
Yeah.
So
people have
like,
mentors they've never seen before.
Enough, I think bottom line though, to answer you just like succinctly, if you've been exposed, it's up to you to exercise your curiosity to learn more about the culture, either the good parts, the bad parts, whatever. But ideally the good parts, because then it will contribute to a better society.
So just one last question before we go to the ultimate questions. And this is it. Do you think the present system that we have now, the present situation we have now, do Black people have themselves to blame, or is to blame on government?
Well, that's
one word.
Both.
What do you think?
It's us. It's not the government.
All right.
Government